I'm not gonna read this because it's like, you know, sometimes people say rude stuff. They said something slightly rude and I don't want to entertain. So in the next question, hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Laura, and welcome to my channel. I know it's been a minute since I made a video, but I thank you for being faithful and I thank you for watching. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and then click the notification bell so that you can be notified every time I post a video. This month has just been a little crazy in my own personal life. I've just been dealing with a lot, and so I wanted to take this opportunity to answer all of your questions. So all of the comments, everything that you've said, I'm going to answer it today. So if you're interested in getting the answers to all the questions, then definitely stay tuned. Okay guys, so like I said, I'm going back a month to answer the questions that you all have left in my videos. So I'm going to answer those right now. So the first question is from about a month ago. Load. I cannot believe that I haven't made a video in this long. I should be ashamed of myself. So the first one says, hey Laura, I'm in Houston, Texas. I took the CritiCall test about 3 weeks ago on a Wednesday. I didn't get to take it past the first part and got booted back to the Social Security part, which the tester told me once we get there, we were done. Parentheses, they put failed. Said I got a call back last week from the tester saying I failed the CritiCall test, but the test I took was an old one and asked me to come in and take it again. I practiced all day and night before on my typing. I went in, took it the next day, Tuesday, and I was able to finish all the parts of the test. Woohoo! Was wondering if I haven't received an email or phone call from her, how long will it find out if we passed? Well, first off, congratulations. If you were able to finish the whole test, generally, that means that you did pass it. Hopefully by now, you have an answer since it's been a month. Yeah, hopefully you received an answer by now on whether or not you passed the test. I think that you did, so congratulations. The next question says, thanks for the insightful video. This was for the pros and cons to being a 911 dispatcher. She says, thank you for the insightful video. Any specific tips or advice for someone interviewing for the job? I made a video on this talking about the interview process and the panel interview regarding specific questions. I don't right now off the top of my head remember a whole lot of the specific questions, but it's like any other job interview. They're going to ask you why you think that you're a good fit for the job. They're going to ask you what you believe your strengths and your weaknesses are. They're going to ask you if you're from an area, like I grew up in an area that was very much crime infested, really a lot of drug dealers and all of that stuff. And so they asked me a lot of questions. They want to know if you're going to tell the truth. That's really what they want to know. The next one is a comment on the 5 tips to pass the CritiCall test. It says, I took my exam in September and failed it by 1%. That sucks real bad. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that, but it does. I was told it was the reading comprehension that I messed up on. I'm already planning to take it again in December. Really hope I pass this time. Girl, I hope you pass too, because if you only missed it by 1% and on the reading comprehension, that just means that everything else you had together, and then you just really need to focus on the comprehension part. One of the things that I used to do when I took reading comprehension, or even when I did the CritiCall test, is I read the questions first so that I knew what I was looking for within the passage. Yeah, so that may be helpful for you. I would even suggest to go ahead and start reading some things now, you know, just to get better at your reading comprehension if that's something that you struggle with. The next one comes from it's a comment on the Becoming a 911 Dispatcher CritiCall video. And it said, hey, I just found out I passed. Hey! I love it when people pass. Like, y'all, congratulations, girly girl. Thank you so much for this video. It really helps. I'm so glad that I could help you. The next question is on the pros and cons to being a 911 dispatcher video. And it says, was the hiring process hard? No, the hiring process wasn't hard, but it was lengthy. So it took about 2 months for me to get hired from the day that I applied to the day that I started, which on average is not that long. And that's the agency that I actually worked for. As you know, well, you may or may not know that I applied to work at another agency, and that process was, I think it was in like the 4th month of it. So it really just depends on the agency that you go to work for. It's not difficult, but there are some things like a polygraph test that you'll have to do. You'll have to do a background investigation. So those types of things sound difficult or challenging to you, you probably shouldn't apply. I'm not gonna read this because it's like, you know, sometimes people say rude stuff. They said something slightly rude and I don't want to entertain. So the next question is from the Let's Talk 911 video. I don't eat sloppy like that. The question says, I want to know, when you apply for 911, do they always ask you to check for a high school diploma or GED, or can you make it without having these things as long as you're professional? Excellent question. In order to be a 911 dispatcher, you have to have a high school diploma or GED. They do ask for your transcripts, so really there's no way around that. I believe that, you know, anybody can do any job with the proper training. I honestly do believe that. But, you know, in order to be certified in the state of Texas with the Texas Commission of Law Enforcement, or TCO, you have to have a high school diploma or GED. There's no way around that, even if you are professional. Okay, so this next one is from the pros and cons to being a 911 dispatcher video. And it says, hey, I know this video is old, but thanks for telling us all this information. I'm only a freshman in high school, but I want to be a 911 dispatcher, so this really helped. Thanks again. Oh, you're so welcome. Listen, I couldn't even imagine as a 9th grader even wanting to become a 911 dispatcher. That was the furthest thing from my mind in the 9th grade, and I don't even think I was mature enough to even do that job at 18. So the fact that you already know at this young of an age that you want to do this job, to me, helps me think that you know what it entails and what it takes. And so good luck to you in your journey. This next one is kind of funny, interesting. It is from the 911 story time, the time I received a write-up video. And the comment says, my cats once called 911 when they were chasing each other and ran on one of my phones, not even activated. But because every phone, whether activated or not, can call 911, it was an early morning and there was the police officer telling me the call came from my place. Couldn't figure out why at the time. He asked me if it was okay if he checked the perimeter. Sure. Finally figured it out, and my cat was staring at me innocently, but it was nice knowing how dedicated my first responder community is to keeping everyone safe. Wow. That's an interesting one. Your cat called 911. And the statements are, you know, relatively true about deactivated phones being able to call 911. The interesting thing about this one, though, is that sometimes when phones are deactivated, just kind of depending on what type of phone it was initially. So when you call 911 from a deactivated phone, it doesn't always give the 911 dispatcher your location. In fact, there have been times that someone has called me from a deactivated phone and like just left the line open, and we had to call in to the cell phone company to get their latitude and longitude coordinates to find out where they were so that we can send officers out to them. So that may have been what happened in that case. I don't know, but glad that everything worked out for you, and I hope your cats don't call 911 anymore. It's from the Dispatcher Reacts to 911 on Fox video. Someone said, I like the video. You get the concept of different situations as a dispatcher. I'm using the movie The Call clip. Yeah, you know what? A lot of people want me to do a review to The Call with Halle Berry in it, the 911 dispatcher movie. If you're interested, if I get enough people interested in that video, then I will do it. And when I say if you're interested, I mean leave a comment down below and say, hey Laura, we want to see the call reaction video. Okay, so if you do that, I do that for you. You do for me, I do for you. The next one says, I take mine on the 29th and I'm so nervous. There was a part on a past one I took and it was a long paragraph. I wasn't sure what to do on that one and that's why I didn't pass this last one. So the 29th is like next week or the week after that. So hopefully, I'm not exactly sure what this long paragraph you're referencing is. Maybe it is the reading comprehension portion of the CritiCall exam. Not exactly sure. I don't recall a long paragraph. That doesn't really give me that much information, so I don't know. I wish I could help. My next one is from the Becoming a 911 Dispatcher CritiCall video. Actually, the next 3 are. So this first one says, thanks, this was very informative. You're so welcome. Someone says, does anyone know if Austin uses this test? More than likely, like I said in the video, the CritiCall video, most law enforcement agencies use a CritiCall test to determine if you are eligible to be a 911 dispatcher. They have the option to adapt the test how they so desire. So if they don't want to include certain elements of the test, or they don't have to, you can customize it. But there are certain things in the exam that you have to include. Thanks for the info. I recently applied and I had my first process this week. I'm actually nervous. Just hope I do good. Hopefully, girl, you did good, great, and wonderful. I'm pretty sure you did. The hardest thing about becoming a 911 dispatcher and all of the tests that you have to take is calming your nerves, just really relaxing and trying to be calm so that you can do what it is that you need to do. And ultimately, that's just really preparing you or determining if you can actually do the job, because in that job you have to remain calm. There's really no time for you to be anxious about anything. You have to be calm, because guarantee the person on the other end of the phone, they're gonna have enough anxiety for everybody, so you have to be calm. Also under that video, it says, what website is good to practice typing? I'm not sure off the top of my head. I did leave that information in a different video where I talked about the hiring process. So all you need to do, really, just go to Google and click free online typing test and they'll come up. That's what I did. That's how I found them and put them in the description box. Now you know my secret. On the Becoming a 911 Dispatcher CritiCall video, it says, I'm about to take this test and I'm so nervous. Thanks for the run through. You are so welcome. Like I was telling y'all, you just have to really be calm. If you can calm yourself down, you can pass the test. It's not difficult at all. Okay guys, I'm back. As you could tell from that previous clip, my ring light went out. So the next question says, it's from what every 911 dispatcher needs to know day one. And it says, do you know what's the best way to prepare for EMD class? I'd like to know exactly how the class goes. If you could make a video. I have to take it soon and I'm nervous because I'm not the best test taker. Any tips or ideas would be much appreciated. Okay, so honestly, I don't remember any tips to help you through the EMD test, but it is super easy. You do, at least in the agency I was at, and I think every agency is the same as far as EMD goes because it's like standard. But what you do is you go to a class, and my class was at a totally different agency, and it was mixed with a bunch of different people, including police officers as well, because some of them do, and other agencies do overtime and dispatch. So they go through it in great detail, the test. They go through the different protocols. They show you how to shunt and all of that stuff. So you'll learn how to do it manually, and you'll learn how to do it electronically. They don't really teach you on the computer in the EMD class. You use the manual version of it. So you'll use like the flip cards and all of that stuff. It's really easy. There's no way, I mean, there's a way I could help you through it. I don't have the book anymore, so, but it's super easy. And the questions are things like, if you have a caller, if they say that they're having a stroke, what would you do next? Like, where would you shunt them to next if they're not breathing or whatever the case is? Okay, so I think this camera is tripping, but we're just gonna go with it. The next question says, how long after the polygraph test were you called for the next step? After the polygraph test, I don't think I had to wait too long, maybe a few days. Once they got the results, they sent me an email and sent me for the next portion of the interview or whatever would be next. I want to thank you so much for making this video. I was extremely nervous, but seeing your video helped me tremendously. I successfully passed my test this past Saturday. My orientation is next Friday and I cannot wait. Yay, congratulations. That is so exciting. Like, I get really super excited when you guys pass your CritiCall test. Like, I feel like I passed again. So I'm just really excited. I'm really happy for you guys. And this last one that I have is, oh, actually, you just have 3 more, so I'll go ahead and read them. Can someone please tell me how I can take the course to get my certificate? I'm not exactly sure what certificate you're speaking of because there's no certificate, no test for a certificate, but if you're talking about the CritiCall test, you have to apply to be a 911 dispatcher and then you'll get invited to take that test. Someone said, I have a question. I applied a couple of weeks ago and received an email yesterday inviting me to advance in the application process. It has a link to take an online pre-employment evaluation and advising to give myself 2 hours to complete it. Is this the famous CritiCall test? I've been watching your videos and I'm very grateful for your tips. Thank you. I'm not exactly sure. It may be because of the length of it, but I'm not exactly sure if it is the CritiCall test, but more than likely it is. There are some agencies that do allow you to take your examination at home. I, however, had to take my exam at the actual 911 center where I worked. And the last question is, I passed my CritiCall test. They did a home visit. Ooh, that's different. I passed my CritiCall test. They did a home visit and I'm taking my polygraph next week. I'm more nervous about the academy. It's 4 weeks, but I recently found out I'm pregnant and don't know how soon it will be. And I'm wondering if I can hide being pregnant and get the 4 weeks over with. That's a good question. That's going to be totally up to you. You know yourself, you know your body, and if you feel like that's something you can handle and something you can do, by all means, you know, go ahead and do what you need to do so you can have a job. I'm just saying. I hope you guys enjoy watching this video. I do thank you all so much for being such faithful subscribers. And again, if you haven't already done so, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. What are you waiting for? It's free 99. But again, leave your questions, leave your comments, and I'm not gonna be gone for a whole month again, I hope. So I'm back, people. Y'all take care. Bye.